why everybody thinks Diddy Tupac. So you know the whole mystery surrounding Tupac's... Well, it's not a mystery. This guy told police a long time ago that he's the one who did it. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, that doesn't look like Diddy. And well, you're right. His name is Keefe D. And he was friends with a guy named Diddy. And well, Diddy had a problem. And his problem's name was Suge Knight, a record executive who had a reputation for violence. And well, one day during an award show, he says, "Join my record label. I won't dance around in your videos like some other people." Everybody looked at Diddy. Diddy said, "What? No, you're not talking about me." Diddy's boy said, "Diddy, come on." Diddy said, "I'm gonna go talk to him." So he goes over to Suge Knight. He runs into a brick wall. He said, "What this wall doing here?" His boy said, "Diddy, look up." Diddy looks up. He said, "Oh." Suge Knight said, "Is there a problem?" Diddy said, "No, I just want to know who you was talking about." Now, Diddy claims that Suge Knight said he was talking about somebody else and not him. But that's not what it looked like, because a few months later, Diddy and Suge Knight get in an argument at a party. Now, Diddy has some real around him, so he chilling. He said, "What, Suge?" But Suge wasn't worried, because see, there's something I forgot to tell you. Suge was affiliated with a group of individuals called the Bloods. For those of you that don't know, they were a gang that started in LA, and they had a legendary rivalry with another gang called the Crips. But remember that group of people I told you with Diddy? They were from the Crips. So the argument escalates to like a scuffle. Suge Knight and his really close friend against Diddy's crew. Diddy was like, "I thought we was just talking." Security then throws him out. Diddy's people walk over to Suge with a... Security tries to stop them, but Suge Knight's friend, Diddy, said, "Oh, snap." Diddy goes home. Diddy said, "He can't be that mad, right?" Diddy's people said, "He hung Vanilla Ice off a balcony." Diddy said, so he calls his friend, Keefe D. And well, it turns out Keefe D was also the leader of a group of Crips. Diddy tells him, "Yo, I'm terrified." Keefe D said, "Well, you should be. There's a war going on in LA because of what happened between you guys." Diddy said, "I ain't doing nothing." But everybody knows Suge Knight ain't trying to hear all that. So Diddy tells Keefe D he would appreciate it if Suge Knight was gone. But it wasn't like an official request. It wasn't too serious until Tupac's record. Now, there's something really important you gotta know. Before any of this happened, Tupac was upset at his close friend Biggie and Diddy because, listen closely, when Tupac was in New York, he was recording in a studio. Biggie and Diddy were in another room. At that studio, Tupac gets 5 times after an attempted robbery. But Tupac survives. He tells Biggie and Diddy, "I know y'all knew that was gonna happen." Biggie said, "Boy, do I look like Raven Simone." But you see, Tupac wasn't just spouting out crazy theories. The guy who Tupac had a relationship with Diddy, and well, Diddy was at the studio, and the streets talk. But not many people know this, but Tupac kind of got over it because he knew it was just a theory. But regardless, the East Coast and the West Coast split. People on the West Coast, where Tupac was from, was saying Biggie, and the East Coast, Tupac. But they weren't listening to what Tupac was saying. He said, "No, he didn't." Tupac said, "I just think he knew about it." And here's where things start to get wicked.
This was the best time for hip-hop. Yo, a lot of people are gonna, probably argue in the comments about this, but I feel like this was the best time for hip-hop, when people were beefing on records and people were taking it serious, and it was more about the culture. Biggie was talking crazy about Pac. Pac was talking crazy about Biggie. Please give me some stories in the comments about how you felt around that time.
A song drops from Biggie called "Who Shot Ya?" And it sounds like he's making fun of what happened to Tupac. Tupac loses it. Suge Knight approaches him and says, "Hey, you hate Biggie and Diddy. I hate Biggie and Diddy. Why don't you join my label?" Tupac also didn't have much choice because Suge Knight paid his bail, but that's besides the point. They team up. Tupac says, "Sure. Also, I should probably let you know I have the potential to end this whole thing." Tupac had a nuke called "Hit 'Em Up," a song considered as the greatest diss track of all time, where Tupac is going in on Diddy, Biggie, and anyone associated with them. Suge Knight said, "God damn, why didn't you release this?" Well, the story goes, somebody slid Diddy a copy of "Hit 'Em Up." Diddy said, "God, he can't release this." So Diddy takes the beat, and Diddy's label records a new song over it. Tupac hears the song, and he is pissed. But he holds on to his version so he could really make it venomous. And here's where things get wickeder. Biggie and Diddy are flying out to LA for an award show. The pilot said, "Now arriving in sunny California." Also, Diddy, Suge Knight still looking for you. Diddy said, "What'd he say?" The flight attendant said, "Oh, he said, we're cooking for you. Are you okay?" Diddy said, "Oh." See, Diddy was still paranoid about what Suge Knight was finna do to him. Now Tupac on his ass too, he freaking out. Biggie said, "Chill, yo, they're not gonna do nothing." They did something. Biggie and Diddy arrive at the award show. Tupac wins an award. But they don't let him go on stage because the award show knew what he was on. They saw him backstage. He said, "Is Diddy here?" They said, "No, you can't go outside." Biggie then wins an award. Biggie then goes backstage with Diddy. Suge Knight and Tupac are backstage, and it gets to cracking. Them boys start scuffling. Now, something important to note is the whole time Crips and Bloods are like mixed into this whole thing. Biggie's friend goes, "Man, what's good?" He brings out the... But everybody gets separated before it could really escalate. And it's at this point Tupac is infuriated. Suge Knight tells him, drop the song, drop the nuke. Tupac throws the song away, walks in the studio, and explodes on the track. He goes off and records a way more violent and venomous version. Suge Knight was like, oh snap. Tupac then releases a song and it is a hit. Everyone's listening to it. But Diddy hears something else. He hears the anger. And Tupac was known to be a loose cannon. So he hits up Keefe D and he says, remember what we talked about Suge Knight? We'll add Tupac to the list too. And everything comes to a head in Las Vegas by pure coincidence. See, Mike Tyson's having a fight in Vegas and he invites his close friend Tupac to watch his fight. But Keefe D and Keefe D's nephew are there. Now pay attention, we about to start zigzagging. Somebody from Suge Knight's crew sees Keefe D's nephew. They tell Suge Knight, hey, that guy's part of the Crips. Suge Knight, blood affiliated. So they put the pause on Keefe D's nephew. Keefe D's nephew goes to Keefe D. He says, Suge Knight and Tupac put the pause on me. Keefe D says, well, I guess the Diddy deal is on. Focus. Keefe D then goes to a guy named Zip, a big-time street guy whose job is to make sure this whole thing goes according to plan for Diddy. Zip tells Keefe D, Diddy said $1 million. Remember, your main target? Suge Knight. Keefe D says, gotcha. Suge Knight and Tupac are driving through Vegas when Keefe D and Keefe D's nephew pull up beside him. Keefe D gives his nephew the nephew is pissed because Tupac really put the pause on him earlier. So the nephew goes, boom. First shot grazes Suge Knight's head and Suge Knight ducks, exposing Tupac. The nephew says, well, boom, boom, boom. Tupac passed. Now, you gotta understand, this is Tupac Shakur, one of the most famous people in the world. The FBI and the police are going to figure this out. In fact, as soon as Keefe D gets home, the FBI starts watching him. They said, boy, come on. Keefe D said, y'all got evidence? The FBI says, not yet, but you sell stuff, don't you? This kind of stuff. The FBI says, cool. The Colombians who supplied Keefe D said, the FBI, oh no, you got it. So Keefe D loses a bunch of money, but he says it's all good because Diddy said he was gonna pay me. He calls Diddy. Diddy ain't answer the call. He goes to Zip. Remember the middleman? Zip says, Diddy ain't give me the money. He tracks Diddy down and says, boy, you better give me that money. Diddy says, I gave it to Zip. Everyone said he gave it to Zip. Wow. Long story short, he never gets the money. The FBI finally cracks on him for the business. Keefe D says, well, I hate Diddy, so how about I just give you info on what happened to Tupac? Keefe D then goes into extreme detail about how Diddy hired him. Now, this is what the LAPD wanted all along. They formed a whole task force to figure out what happened to Biggie, not Tupac, because Biggie's mom was suing the LAPD when Biggie got in Los Angeles. So the LAPD went hard in investigation, which led them down the Tupac rabbit hole. By the way, they're pretty sure Suge Knight Biggie for revenge for what happened to Tupac. Now, a member of the LAPD task force named Greg Kading came out and said, yeah, everything Keefe D said matched up perfectly with our investigation. We're pretty sure Diddy did it. I don't know what you're thinking. Well, if they had all this evidence, why didn't they solve it? Well, for one, the city of Los Angeles shut down the task force after Biggie's mom dropped the lawsuit. For two, according to Keefe D, the FBI told him that there wasn't enough evidence to link Keefe D and Diddy. More specifically, since Diddy paid Zip and Zip didn't pay you, there's not enough evidence. And since Diddy is a billionaire with the best lawyers in the world, they need strong evidence. And Diddy's lawyers are just gonna say Keefe D said all this to keep himself out of jail. But Keefe D gets arrested anyway for Tupac because he writes a book about the event. He said, I thought I had immunity. The Las Vegas police tell him, no, you had an agreement with the LAPD for those specific charges. We found new evidence and, well, you finna get life. But I think the most interesting part is since the cases are technically unsolved, you can't say Diddy did it. But the police and rappers in the industry have been saying for decades. 50 Cent really early on said, yeah, by the way, Diddy did it. Eminem makes a song listing out what happened, saying Diddy did it. It was the worst kept secret in the industry. But Diddy will probably never get charged for it. But also, I don't think the FBI cares because I'm sure the way they see it is he's going to get life for all the other stuff he did. So, yeah.
Now, what's interesting about this whole conversation, right, is, and this is a question for the people. First off, shout out to you if you made it to this part of the video. That means you actually were here for what I got to say. Now, question. If you got away with the perfect crime, would you write a book about it or would you just take it to the grave? That's the one thing. And that's what I want y'all to answer. And that's kind of what it is. I think that when you want clout and when you want fame and you want to be acknowledged for certain things, these are the results of that. As a grown-ass man, you shouldn't want that much clout enough to go, well, I thought I had immunity. Even with immunity, you might want to just not speak on it. Now, as far as Diddy's involvement, he made a great point. When you got good lawyers, I mean, you got to prove it. Keefy D, he might got okay lawyers, but they're not going to add up to what Puffy's lawyers are. I think Diddy got a lot more situations on his plate. This is just another part of everything, and I think this is just kind of made the things go full circle, and this is exactly why the attention's on him. And we're just gonna have to wait. What are you guys' views on this whole situation and how this turned out? I think it is sad though, that we gotta lose two people to music for this. It's not really worth it. I think that you know, this is a time where music was really good. It was like real passionate. People were willing to, you know, for it. And I think that it's different now. So shout out to that time. It was a great time. If you was around for that time, I would love to hear some stories in the comments. We're at 55,000 on this channel. I want to get to 100,000 by the end of this year. Please sub up, hit the top bell. I'll see you on the next one.